Good morning and happy Friday, guys. Long time no see, and that is because I've been in the medical ICU, aka the MICU, this month, and it has just been a very busy and tiring month. But today is Friday, have the day off, making some breakfast, gonna have some French toast. But I will fill you guys all in about how this month in the ICU has been. I have about 5 more days till the last day of March, and then I'll be done with this month at ICU, then back to the ER, the pediatric ER. But yeah, just gonna have some breakfast and then get my day started. All right, good morning, guys. So it was actually a couple of days later. I never even ended up picking up the camera again that day when I was off. I kind of just rested throughout the day. But it is March 31st, which means it's the last day of my ICU rotation. I'm so happy that this month is ending. It's really been a tough month. But it is 6:40. Every day we have morning sign out at 7 a.m. and then we have rounds from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I'm gonna head into the hospital now, and then maybe when I get a little lunch break, I'll catch up with you guys. All right, so it is 11:45. Rounds ended a bit early, so I'm headed down to get some lunch. Because at 12:30 I do have a family meeting with one of the patient's family, palliative, and a couple of other specialists. All right, so I got some lunch. We actually eat free at my hospital, which is pretty nice. I didn't have a chance to get breakfast this morning. I nearly passed out during rounds. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. So where did I even leave off in this vlog? I feel like it's been all over the place. I'm done with my ICU month. Finished it up a couple days ago, the end of March. It's now what, like April 2nd. I'm down in Orlando for my pediatric emergency medicine month. But just to give you a recap on my medical ICU month, it was a tough month. The complexity of the patients plus the work schedule just made it a tough month in general. So we worked 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to about almost 8 p.m. after we got finished with the evening sign out. When you think about like residency and generalize it as being like a tough period, I felt like I was in residency for real, like with that schedule. Obviously I've had tough months before, mainly trauma, because of the schedule was similar to just working long days. I mean, working long hours and working many consecutive days that I had many time off. So this was one of those months. Typically when you're doing an inpatient month, it is like that 6 days a week. When I'm in the ER, it's not like that. It's more so random days we work, maybe about 4 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week. So it was in that aspect of the schedule and not really having time off that made it a tough month. So the typical schedule, we'll get there at 7 a.m. We would receive sign out from the night team. So if there were any overnight events that happened with the patients, they would give us an update on that. After sign out, we then did pre-rounding on our patients, and then rounds started with the team at 10 a.m. So rounds is multidisciplinary rounds, which means like the pharmacist is there, respiratory therapy is there, physical therapy is there, occupational therapy, the nurse is there. Obviously us as residents, and then the intensivist, the attending, is there. And so rounds go from 10 a.m. to about 12 p.m. After rounds, you finish wrapping up, putting in any orders or consults that you need to do, which were discussed during rounds. And then from about 12 p.m. to up until 7 p.m., we're taking consults, admissions from the emergency department, rapid responses. For an example, a rapid response can be a patient on the floor, like another unit in the hospital is having respiratory distress or altered mental status or chest pain. Rapid response will be called, and then the critical care team is responsible for responding to that alert. So yeah, rapid responses, consults, admissions throughout the day, finishing up notes, and then the day is done. So some things that we saw that you see in the ICURs in particular that I saw throughout the month would be things like DKA, acute respiratory failure, maybe secondary to pneumonia, COVID pneumonia. Still seeing COVID cases, definitely not as many, but there were a handful of COVID cases. What else? Septic shock, endocarditis, encephalitis, You know, typically patients that require ICU level of care are either because they're intubated, they're requiring some kind of drip like a vasopressor because they're in shock, or maybe some kind of other drip, like example, a patient in AFib with RVR. Rapid response was called for that patient, but you can only, I think, push diltiazem like once on the floor, and if you have to start a drip, then they're required to come to the ICU. So that's an example of a patient that required ICU level of care. What else? Strokes, you know, status post TPA, where they need ICU level monitoring for like 24 hours. I got to do a lot of procedures this month, which was great. I did some intubations, handful of central lines, handful of trialysis lines that I had to put in for patients that maybe needed, you know, emergent dialysis, arterial lines. So yeah, in that aspect, it was a pretty good month procedure wise. Leaving this month, I definitely feel more comfortable handling sicker patients, you know, the critically ill patients. You know, obviously in the emergency department, we're gonna need to know how to manage those patients. And coming up in the next couple of months, as an intern, we're gonna be working more on the higher acuity side. So this month was definitely helpful for me, being a bit more comfortable, you know, managing those kind of patients. So overall for my program, we have a total of, I think, 4 ICU months that we do throughout the 3 years. So our first year, we do 1 month of MICU. Second year, we do a pediatric ICU month, which I have coming up in July. And then we do a cardiovascular ICU month. And then in third year, we go back to the MICU as a senior resident to do another ICU month. So yeah, guys, we're in April. I have 2 more months remaining of intern year, and then I'm a second year, which is a senior resident, which is crazy to think about. I start my second year in July, back down in Orlando doing a pediatric ICU month. So yeah, time is moving, residency is flying by. Obviously haven't vlogged much recently because it's just been such a busy month of March in the ICU, but now I'm down in Orlando for the month doing my peds EM month. Schedule is pretty light. I'm only working like 16 shifts this month, so pretty good schedule. I'll be vlogging a bit more, and then the end of April, April 24th, Stanley and I are having our wedding in Atlanta, so excited about that. It was supposed to be last year. We obviously pushed it back due to COVID, but I'm excited to finally celebrate. We've already had a couple of wedding ceremonies, but yeah, we're finally having our ceremony in Atlanta, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's like 8:30. I have like a string of night shifts coming up, so I do work tonight, 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. I've already had 2 shifts already in the peds ED, which is much different than the adult emergency department. I just feel like things are a bit slower. I don't know, I can take my time a bit more with patients. It's just different, and managing kids is just different too. Something I'm not completely comfortable with, so this month would definitely be good as far as getting more comfortable with managing pediatric patients. So if you guys are from Orlando, if you have recommendations about restaurants to try out, things to do, places to go, please leave it in the comment section and I'll be sure to check it out. This was a shorter video, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and leave any future video suggestions that you may have. Of course, I'll be doing like a wrap-up video in a few weeks, in a couple months, and I'm officially done with intern year, about just my reflections, thoughts, and advice for your first year of residency. I know match was a couple of weeks ago. Congrats to everybody that found out that they matched. Exciting times for sure. All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye.